Welcome to the Trades Podcast, a podcast about the business of home improvement and promoting the trades to young adults. In this podcast, we talk with business owners, educators, and professionals about the benefits, skills, and related experiences of the home improvement business. Tips to help you with being successful from entry into the trades or established business owners. In this podcast, we hope to influence some young adults that the trades as a career is a great option leading to full and prosperous life. I'm Danny Torres, an MC, DJ, and podcaster, inspiring young adults by shining light onto career opportunities in our world today.
And I'm Jeff Mudd, home improvement contractor, writer of the Millionaire Carpenter series, and podcaster.
Stay tuned to 15 to 20 minutes of insightful tips.
Got a full morning here.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, right here, recording here at the BBB Ignite Podcast Studios. I'm DJ Danny.
And I'm Jeff Mudd.
This is the thetradespodcast.com. And ladies and gentlemen, we do have Salam Hasenin here today with Star Flooring and Remodeling. Salam, how you doing?
Very well. Thank you very much. How you guys doing?
Man, I am so excited to have you in here this morning. You've got one great story that we've been talking, and it took us a while to get started because it's such an interesting story. So I'm looking forward to getting this on the recording for everybody else to hear.
Thank you so much. You're too kind.
Yeah, so Salam, 43 years is Star Flooring and Remodeling, right?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah, and you were just letting us know about 9.5 years ago, you acquired Star Flooring and Remodeling.
That is correct, yes.
How did you get to that point?
Well, you know what, I was a city employee, and I had a real nice job, and I worked for the city for over 22 years. However, I always had that itch. I wanted to own and operate my own business. So I figured, you know what, if I don't do it now, it'll never happen. So I decided I quit my city job and left all that nice pension and benefits and all that stuff. And I wanted to pursue my dream of owning and running my own business, and never looked back since then.
Did you feel uncomfortable when you made that decision, or were you pretty confident?
I was confident, but let me tell you, I was nervous. I was nervous, and it was a challenge the first couple of years.
I bet it was, and that really highlights something. Slim's kind of downplaying it a little bit, but the sense of somebody that's got a very secure government job, a career path that's going to lead to retirement with a good pension. That's good for a lot of people. But what he's saying is the trades were so appealing to him. The ownership of a construction company was more appealing financially, and for what other reasons? Was it something that, you wanted to work with your hands? You just wanted to manage more people?
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, seriously, despite the benefits and the pension and the cushy, well, whatever you want to call it, cushy job or secure job, but I wanted to own my own business and be my own boss, and also manage people, direct them, and see something done, physically done, like you participated in the construction of this building. So when I do the flooring and everybody's like taking pictures of the flooring at the end, it gives me a great satisfaction, and my name is on it. So I've done a lot of work for a variety of buildings, not just homes and stuff. I mean, I did work for the VA hospitals throughout Southern California. I did work for military bases. I did work for schools. You name it. Nice homes, beach homes right on the coast in Encinitas, Del Mar, Solana Beach. So you're passing by and go, hey, by the way, I did the flooring for that beautiful building. And so that, that makes it all worth it.
Yeah. So a nice variety of work. Get to practice leadership skills or grow your leadership skills. Sometimes you don't have that in other careers that you'd have. And I think that's really one of the things that the construction trades, you can start off practicing leadership skills from day one, pushing a wheelbarrow by putting the effort in. That's one of the things you were talking to me and Danny about earlier, is, persistence and dedication to your craft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, owning a small business, especially a construction company, you've got to be willing to do everything. And it's a great opportunity because you are practicing leadership. You're leading a team, office staff and construction crews. And in addition to that, you're sitting there, you're working on your budget. Your marketing, your doing, putting your marketing plan together. You're doing your business plan together. You're planning for the future. So you're doing everything all together, especially when you're small.
Yeah. So you're the CEO, Chief Everything Officer.
I'm everything, including I'm the janitor. Sometimes I joke. So I do everything, and I'm one of those owners that are very involved because I like to be involved. I mean, I don't need to be involved in everything, but I love it, and sometimes I show up, or most of the time I'm there at 6:37 because I want to shake hands with my installers, my construction crews. I want to talk to everybody. I want to show them that I do care, and you lead by example.
Yeah.
They see this, they appreciate it. They go, oh, the owner's here at 6:30. So
you recognize the difference between leadership and micromanaging.
I do, and it's a fine line that you really have to tread very carefully because sometimes, no matter how careful you are, you fall into that. I hate to admit it, I do fall into that sometimes, but I've got a real good team, and I have real good relationships where they feel comfortable telling me that, Salam, we've got this. You're micromanaging this back. Back off nicely, back off a little bit. Yeah. And I take that feedback seriously.
That's good. Yeah,
that's good.
There's a difference between having systems and micromanaging because you don't trust your employees. So when you have trust in your employees that they can do the job right and it's okay to fail, and everybody learns from that failure, it's a lesson learned moving on. I've had lots of those in my life.
Yeah. I mean, once you surround yourself by good people, you treat them right, and they'll feel comfortable telling you about failures and mistakes. And I have no issue with failures and mistakes.
Yeah. And how many employees do you have on your roster right now?
Right now, I have about 55 employees.
55. That's amazing. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's an amazing number, and it's true. I mean, I've seen Salam out on a couple projects. He remodeled my fiance's bathroom, and there he was. Installers were there, checking on everything, and he was just right on, making sure everything's pretty good, and it was good. Trust me.
Is that how you met her, Danny?
No, not that's not how I met her. That would have been a great story though. But no, and that's great. I mean, 55 employees, that's amazing. I think that's probably one of the most employees that we've probably business owners had on the show recently. And I think we were talking about it earlier. You have young installers and workers with you that are on your team, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. I mean, what's the most fulfilling side of their job that they maybe communicate to you, or that you just see them happy with? Working for Star Flooring right now.
Well, a lot of the young adults that come and join. I mean, sometimes I'm surprised. I mean, we have 18, 19-year-old, and they're there with their cousin or their uncle or their dad, and they want to do the work. A lot of those guys love to work with their hands, and they love to accomplish something. So at the end of the day, it's like, look, I did this. And they love the learning process. That's what I notice of these guys. I mean, they're there with their bosses and or family members at 6, 8 in the morning, loading up the truck and everything, and at the end of the day, they're leaving happy. They don't seem like they're very happy, and then they come back the next day. So is that kind of a person? Are you the kind of person who would like to not be restrained by office, the office setup and structure? You like to be out there. You like to do things with your hand. You like to accomplish things and see the physical accomplishment at the end of the day. If you're that kind of a person, this is the work for you.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, there's a lot of future in there if you really want to do this.
Yeah, and even one of those things that you mentioned, like, where you're working with your hands, you're going out to these jobs. I mean, you're communicating with the business owners or the homeowners. You're with the project managers that are on site. If it's a big project, like you mentioned, at the VA, I can imagine there's a lot of people that you would have to talk to, and all your installers are having to just like really communicate and being able to work with other people, right?
Yeah, it's not just installation. It's not like you're going out there and you're like a robot. You're just installing, carpet or tile, and you're done and you're out of there.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's a lot of communication. I mean, you have to present yourself professionally and politely, and practice customer service skills, and to communicate with the homeowner if it's a homeowner, or communicate with the superintendent if you're at the VA hospital, communicate with the general contractor if you're doing some multifamily. So there's a lot of communication, there's a lot of customer service, and there's a lot of coordination with other trades. I mean, you're doing flooring, But you've got the plumber who needs access to the bathroom, so you need to talk to them and you need to arrange for that when it's a good time for them to access the bathroom, so they don't ruin your floor.
Yeah.
So you have to have excellent interpersonal skills. You have to have good communication skills. You have to have good leadership skills, or otherwise, like everything else in life, you're not going to succeed. It's not the technical aspects of it. I mean, what I really look into a person when I look at a young adult or even a more senior person is not just their technical skills. I mean, that is important, don't take me wrong, because I need a good installation at the end of the day. But is that person, do they have good interpersonal skills?
Mm-hmm.
Can they communicate? Can we give and take? Can they think outside the box? Can they find solutions? I want the customer to be happy, because if the customer is not happy, we're not in business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So you can hire for skills, but you cannot teach character.
Yep.
So hiring for character and teaching for skills.
And that might take a lot of patience, I would think, just, being able to make sure that you have the right person for the job, and, whether you vet them and, go through that process. What is that process like for, say, someone that'd be jumping into a new position over with you at your company?
Well, we have to interview them, and even if they don't have experience in the industry, I mean, I sit with people at least once, sometimes depending on the position, sometimes 2 times, sometimes even 3 times, and then sometimes I take them for coffee because I want to get to know them. I want to make sure whoever I send into somebody's home or somebody's business, I want to make sure they're the right person. And I do reference check and background check to make sure that this is the right person. Mm-hmm. And even though we do all these things, let me tell you, it's always a work in progress. And as an owner, I always say this, for everything that I do, patience and persistence.
Yeah.
So I give a lot of, I sit with people and I give a lot of mentoring, a lot of coaching, a lot of feedback, in a constructive, loving, caring manner, so they can improve and they can work on their skills. I mean, you can't teach somebody character, but you can teach them some new skills. You can say, it's okay, this is a better way of saying what you just said, mm-hmm. or let's think about this in a different way.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you lead them into, it's like, oh my God, yeah, this is a solution. And that's how you do it. And, there are a lot of smart young people, especially when it comes to technology and stuff. And some of them come up with ideas on how we do things better, utilizing technology or communicating with each other in a better way. Yeah. So we cut down on travel time or phone calls or something. So those young people, they're pretty smart. If you have a young person who's interested in the job and they've got the right character, the right ambition, the right, temperament, they'll do very, very well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's got to be super fulfilling as a business owner too, because you might have seen employees rise up to be a supervisor or a manager in a certain region that you have, or on a certain project that you can feel comfortable with. What is there any story that you have on an employee right now that you can think of at the top of your head that you've seen just maybe rise the ranks within your company?
To be honest with you, Danny, I've got a lot of stories. How much time do you have? and the reason I'm saying this, I got the business 9.5 years ago, and I literally had under 10 employees.
Yeah.
Okay, and now 9 years later, we have over 50 employees.
Wow.
And I've got several employees who started, I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to embarrass these people or whatever. But, I have one of my very, very good people that I trusted and all that stuff. And just he moved up from being, like an admin, mm-hmm. right? He moved up and now he works for another company in a much higher capacity. Another person, again, she started as a receptionist, and she moved up the ranks, and she's in a pretty high position with my company right now. And I've got several people who just developed and grew and moved up the ranks, either with my company or other places.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean that shows a testament to, like you said, starting when you had acquired Star Flooring and Remodeling, 9 employees, and then you guys have it up to 50. Yeah. 50 plus. Yeah. So that just shows a big thing that, the retention is one thing that we've talked about on the show. There's something that's been happening around the U.S., the great resignation of people leaving their jobs or, just going to a different industry, just wanting to try something totally different. But with the experience that we've been hearing and just understanding with the trades industry, it's a place that people can go into, try something new, and be in it for the long run. Because as of right now, it doesn't seem like business is slowing, right?
No, I mean, it's like actually we were looking for employees all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, all the time. I have ads running constantly on several media platforms. And you know, if people also, another question is like, you know, sometimes they think it's like, all right, well, I'm going to be an installer. You know, is you know, that's limited. It really isn't limited. And if you're an ambitious person and you set goals for yourself, you can start like as an 18, 19, 20-year-old in the business and learn the business and get really good at it for the next 3, 4, 5 years. If you're ambitious and smart, you can get some certifications in your industry. You can become a certified installer. You can become a licensed contractor. And you can run your own crews. I mean, you can be responsible for managing and leading. So you can start a small business and have 7, 8 installers working for you. And you can have 4 or 5 jobs going on every day or every week.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to be that installer all the time. You can be the manager, the leader, the owner, and make sure that these jobs happen. And I do have several people like that.
Yeah.
I have several crew leaders that they have several crews under them, and they handle multiple jobs for me on a daily or weekly basis.
Yeah, there's multiple career paths that you can apply to almost any type of construction trade career. I had a question for you, Slam, though, on the flooring that you install. Is there how does product training work? I mean, you've got new technology coming out with the way the hardwood floors are being made, things like that. Does the supplier supply that? How's the product training work?
There are several ways of doing this. There are trade schools that you can, look them up like on Google and find a trade school that will teach you certain things. But for me, the majority of my training happens where I partner up a senior person with a new person, and they can watch and they can learn from there. And that's the best, really honestly, that's the best way to learn a job on the job training, because you see it for yourself. And if you're good with your hands, you're going to pick up that stuff quickly. And I've got some employees. I mean, I've got an installer who has no clue about constructions whatsoever. He absolutely right now, and I'm not going to mention his name, but he's absolutely one of my top installers right now. He knows all the installations and everything, and he's skilled in different areas where he's my go-to guy, especially when I'm in a bind. In addition to that, also, my suppliers and vendors also, sometimes they set up training, and I bring them over and I call for a staff meeting. And they come, they introduce their product, and they show it, how it's applied or things that have changed. YouTube is a great resource. I mean, seriously, especially nowadays, because the technology keeps changing, the products keep changing. So what you did 20 years ago does not apply today, because there are new things and new methodologies, and you need to learn these things. And also, you need to read the installation manual all the time for new products, because it's different.
Okay, so it's similar to some of my experiences. Product comes out, marketing sales rep from the product comes in, gives a pitch, hey, this is the greatest, newest thing, covers the basics on the installation, and it directs you to the company videos or the YouTube videos, or the company videos are on YouTube for the final thing, and then reading the specs on the installation guide. That takes some patience sometimes, because they are fine print and long, but that's where the nuts and bolts are in the installation. But the person that's dedicated to their craft will go through that little bit of time. Sometimes they do it on after hours, so when they come to work the next day, they're a better employee, they're better prepared. Is that kind of what you're seeing?
100%. 100%. And I have guys who come to me and say, hey, by the way, I got the certification. I'm like, wow, I'm really proud of you. And sometimes they do it on their own because they want to improve their craft, and they want to become better, and they want to get paid more, of course. I mean, let's face it, money talks.
It's part of the career path. I mean, if you're going through all the steps to learn and move up the ladder, the paycheck usually follows.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Sure. But say I'm like a high schooler coming out of high school, about to graduate. College doesn't seem like it's going to be for me. If they are thinking about going into the trades, where would they start? What would you tell them? What's the mindset to go into it? And what do you think you would just advice to give them?
Yeah. Well, once you're in high school and you figured, you know what, this is something I love and I want to do, try it out first. So during the summertime when you have breaks or spring break or whatever, go to a job site, to a construction site, and just apply, or find an uncle or whatever, a friend of the families that does something, and ask them if they need help, and even volunteer your time if they don't, like, if it's right now everybody's paying.
Yeah.
But during recessions and stuff, maybe volunteer your time. So go and find out, is this something I like, because you want to try it out, and you will find out. And try different trades. Like, let's say you love drywall, go try drywall one summer or one, whatever, or one Christmas break. And if you think it's like, oh, I like this, but maybe I want to try something else next summer or next opportunity, to try that. So by the time you graduate from high school, you have a good idea. And also, talk to your teachers at school, talk to your counselor, because there are some recommendations for trade schools and things of that nature. So you can start, like, maybe directing some of your classes in that direction.
Yeah.
Or maybe they can recommend some kind of a trade school that you can go to. Yeah. But definitely, the trade schools and the unions here locally, they help you with training. Mm-hmm. They offer that kind of training. So there's a lot of resources. And as I mentioned to you before the podcast, you can also, if you want to establish your own business at some point, you can seek out the Small Business Administration, the SBA. They have several offices throughout the county, and they offer free service. So don't pay for anything. And you can, even if you're not ready to do your own business, seek them out.
Yeah.
Google SBA, and they do have local offices like the Small Business Development Center up north, and down south in National City, something called PTAC, and I forgot what that stands for. But all these resources are available for you for free. Mm-hmm. Call the local union and ask them about trade schools and see what they offer. And a lot of these services are for free, and sometimes they pay you for working there. And even though you're learning, you're still getting paid.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. So Salam's talking about the union. It's here in San Diego. They're really strong. Trades podcast. What we found is we work really well with talking to business owners working in the home improvement industry. And one of the things that me and Danny agreed upon when we first started was this is also a learning process for us. Mm-hmm. So as podcasters, we want to be good podcasters. So I appreciate you taking your time to come in and all the listenership out there.
Yeah. Sure.
And the unions is a whole different opportunity and gamut and level of career paths that can take you throughout the world.
I agree, Jeff.
Mm-hmm. Like if you Google Dubai construction, you can see some architecture for buildings over there that will just amaze you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They blow your mind. Yes.
Yeah, and to do that, it took everybody from architects, engineers, dreamers, with the design work, and millions of support staff to make buildings of that nature happen. Same thing happens over here in the United States. We build bridges. We build, high rises. Everybody's seen the iconic picture of the four iron workers sitting on a beam in New York City. Mm-hmm. That's what America was made on. So it's one of the things that I'm super passionate about is highlighting the trades to young adults. So if your career path takes you to what Salam's talking about, to wanting to own your own business at whatever level, there's tons of resources out there for you, no matter where you're at in this country. San Diego's got a lot, but it's all over the country.
I agree, Jeff. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then, like you mentioned, that advice, really appreciate the advice that you're giving out to the young adults. Is your Star Flooring Remodeling and Flooring a place that, say, a high schooler can go to and reach out and possibly, test out the waters on
Absolutely,
the trades?
100%.
Awesome.
Yes. If they've got the right personality, the right character,
the drive, yeah,
the right temperament, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I am open to giving people opportunities all day long.
Do that and, let everybody know how the best way we can reach out to you.
You can email me at Salam, SALAM, at starflooringandremodeling.com. You can also call our office at 619-282-4000. and just ask to speak to me or ask to speak to the office manager, and they'll be more than happy to help you.
Yeah, let them know you shouted out or that you heard this message, straight from the CEO. He said the interim janitor, the top head honcho right here. He gave you his email, so let them know that you heard him through the tradespodcast.com. Salam, it has been awesome to have you on the show today, to hear your story, your advice, and patience and persistence.
Thank you so much, Danny and Jeff, for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity. I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, I think you brought in a great perspective on the opportunities in the construction trades for young adults or second chancers or wherever you're at in life. It's never too late to jump in and try something new. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you both.
That's right. The tradespodcast.com right here, recording in the Ignite BBB podcast studio. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.